Hello and welcome to Brodual. This time we have a mod called Immersive Creatures. The mod adds dozens of new creatures to the game to help diversify combat and gameplay. It's also very similar to another popular mod called the Monster mod. However, this one seems to focus less on the addition of entirely new creatures and more on expanding the variety of existing creatures. So for example, as you can see on screen now, there's a whole variety of new Draugr type creatures. They're only small and subtle changes, like new pieces of armor, but it's a welcome change in a world full of Draugr filled dungeons. The mod was initially released over a year ago, but has been steadily updated over the past year to introduce a variety of new features. The most recent update introduced even more control over exactly what creatures are added to your game. So if at any point you notice a creature you aren't particularly fond of, then you can now easily disable it in the mod menu. You can also use a predefined preset that disables any creature that potentially go against the law. So this will disable some of the dragon hybrid creatures that you can see on screen now. For the most part, the rest of the creatures are quite unique and interesting. Some are very similar to the vanilla game creatures and will only vary slightly in height and their armor, whereas others will be a combination of two clear creatures, like the Minotaur. And others are completely new, but from what we saw they were all on par with the vanilla creatures in terms of quality. And once again, you control what type of creatures spawn in the mod menu, so there should be suitable settings for nearly every type of player. To enhance the creatures further and to also increase variety, the mod uses assets from several other popular armor and weapon mods that some of the new creatures will use. So you could find some of the new skeleton or Draugr creatures using some of the weapons from the Weapons of the Third Era mod. There's also a few creatures from other mods too, like the Ents of Skyrim and the mechanical Dwemer dragons. Some of the new creatures are also quite powerful, and there's a few new bosses too. However, if you ever find yourself dying too easily to the new creatures, then you can also change the difficulty independently from the rest of the game. It's not just a matter of changing the difficulty to increase or decrease their max HP or damage either. You can actually change their stats, armor, and even how frequently some of the dragon-based creatures will use shouts. The mod menu can also be used to control extra, more specific features like the resurrection chance on some of the new resurrecting skeletons. You can also decide whether you want the mechanical dragons to give dragon souls, edit the spawn chances, and even control how often cells will refresh with new creatures, so you really do have a lot of control over the mod. And on top of all of that, the mod does it all without using any scripts that will cause issue with your save file or in installing. So even after tweaking all of the settings in the mod menu, if you find the mod just isn't right for you, then you can easily uninstall it without much hassle. In terms of compatibility, the mod currently requires the Draugr DLC and the latest version of the game. There's also an additional optional patch for Dragonborn that'll add a few new Solstheim based creatures to the world. Other than that, you shouldn't really have any issues with compatibility. For bigger mods that alter the leveled lists, like Requiem or Skyrim Redone, you'll just need to install the compatibility patches and everything will run fine. You can even get it to work alongside the Monster mod for even more variety. And overall, Immersive Creatures was one of the few great immersion mods that didn't make it to our top 10. But we wanted to feature it anyway, so we decided to give it its own video. We think it's one of the best ways to increase the variety of creatures in the game. So if you're tired of fighting the same old Draugrs, skeletons, giants and other creatures, then we recommend you click the link down below. As always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mod you enjoy, and thanks for watching.